Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Preston Endress. A man has been arrested and charged after police say he held a gun towards protesters at the No Kings protest in Wilkes-Barre's public square on Saturday. 52-year-old Michael Paul Kollerick of Scranton was arrested in Wilkes-Barre after police say he pointed a gun at protesters. Attendees of the protest said that Kollerick was threatening them, and one protester told police that Kollerick pointed the weapon in her direction while holding it close to his waist. Another protester said Kollerick pointed the gun at her while his finger was on the trigger. After stopping Kollerick's vehicle, a search found 2 pistols, one in the console and another in a holster on Kollerick's hip. Kollerick was arrested on the scene and faces several charges and a bail of $50,000. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for November 5th. Luzerne County District Attorney Sam Sengadose confirmed that there is 1 dead and another injured after a shooting that happened in Edwardsville on Sunday morning. Police crews from Edwardsville, Swearsville, and Kingston were seen blocking off a section of Main Street, as well as a portion of Church Street. Police have charged 36-year-old Hafusuya Karim Dunn with shooting into an apartment complex on the 500 block of Main Street. Security video showed a man wearing a sweatshirt and peachy pink pants, which matched what Dunn was wearing when he arrived at the hospital, but he ditched a ski mask that police found at a residence on Church Street. Neighbors in the area do not know what led to the shots being fired, but say it is a shame since it is usually a quiet neighborhood where everybody gets along. Pike County District Attorney Ray Tompkins stated the Pike DA Unlawful Narcotics Investigation Team investigated methamphetamine trafficking in Greentown. Christopher Kubasek, age 45, and Rachel Lee Wisniewski, age 46, traveled to the Allentown area to get meth prior to returning to Pike County with the intent to sell it. Police obtained a search warrant for the residents of the 130 block of Oak Drive in Greenwood, where they found 2.5 ounces of methamphetamine. Both individuals involved have been charged with multiple drug offenses. Wisniewski's bail was set at just $75,000, while Kubasek's was set at $150,000. A driver has unfortunately been in a fatal crash on Interstate 81. On Sunday, October 19th, around 8:30 p.m., a truck crash occurred under a bridge in Fraley Township, Schuylkill County, according to the Pennsylvania State Police. The driver was identified as 61-year-old Scott McAlpine, a man from the state of Maine, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. The police say that McAlpine drove the vehicle off the left shoulder, hitting an embankment, which caused the car to fly through the air right onto the underpass of Twin Bridges. It was an informational night for those with a passion for astronomy, or simply the beautiful starry sky in general. On the night of October 18th at City View Park, Hazleton, members of the Greater Hazleton Area Astronomical Society were proud to host the Public Star Party. The society group got to share information on certain aspects of astronomy, mainly the star systems and faraway planets. People who attended the event got to look through high-tech telescopes and see star clusters, planets on the other side of the solar system, and far galaxies. We spoke with the host and society director, Paul Smaglick, on what the whole occasion is about.
Tonight I had a 30-minute presentation about the autumn sky. We talked about the Pegasus. We talked about the double cluster. We talked about Pleiades, another star cluster. We also talked about setting expectations. When you're looking through a telescope, you're not going to see a Hubble picture. You're going to see a little less grandeur of an object. We talked about that, and we talked about you do not have to be an expert in viewing the night sky. All you need to do is use a pair of eyes, app on your phone, and you're all set.
Smaglick also talked about what he hoped the attendees took from the event.
A takeaway to be a little more appreciative of the night sky and actually get a moment to just to look up. And then also, they're very interested and they want to learn more, they can always reach out to our organization and we can assist them in their adventure in that.
The Public Star Party was a free experience for all to enjoy, as not everyone gets a chance to see Saturn as a little circle with a line going through it. It was a fun weekend for families who love a good scare, as the opening night of the Partysville Haunted Trail was a success. Attendees for the event were thrilled by the array of decorations, ghouls, quests, food, and all-around scares. Once again, the workers of the Haunted Trail put in their best efforts to show the community a great time, to fuel their passion for the Halloween season. The trails started on Thursday, October 16th at 7 o'clock p.m. and continued that routine till Saturday, October 18th. On Sunday the 19th, there was an extra event on a smaller scale as families got to return for the Scary Story Night. Not only were scary stories told, but the Tricky Tray commenced with people winning grand prizes. People were encouraged to attend in costumes and keep up the fun Halloween spirit. Coming up on Wyln News, a Bloomsburg man is facing numerous and serious charges. Plus, Amazon users are looking for an explanation on recent connection issues. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the Wyln Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network, part of Jefferson Health. If you were saved by the bell and made epic mixtapes, it's time for a mammogram. Screenings help find breast cancer early when it's more treatable. Schedule today at lvhn.org/mammo.
Hi, my name is Russ. I'm 4 years old. Tomorrow's good will be bright and sunny out.
We want your child to be our Wyln Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on Wyln News and Wyln social media posts, just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the Wyln News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today.
When emergency strikes, trust your care to the all-new ER at Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton. With a facility that's now twice the size. Experienced nurses who see you right away. A quick assessment process makes sure you get the care you need. Advanced technology on site. Safe, private treatment rooms, and a peace of mind that only this level of care can bring. When it matters most, trust your partner in emergency care. Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton.
If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Cheers Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in at 610 North Broad Street in West Hazleton, 570-454-7229. Cheers is proud to be celebrating 70 years in business. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. It's the 47th Annual American Cancer Society Greater Hazleton Unit Telethon, fighting every cancer for every life. Join us Saturday, November 15th from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. at the Pennsylvania Theater of Performing Arts in Hazleton, or watch us live on WYLN TV 35. Tune in for all the entertainment, and please make a pledge Saturday, November 15th for the 47th Annual American Cancer Society Telethon.
Welcome back to Wyln News. A Bloomsburg man who was supposed to be watching his roommate's 5-year-old son is being hit with a list of charges. Joshua King of 345 West 5th Street left the house and his roommate Nahi Meek's son unattended. When King left the house, the boy was inside and he said he was asleep. The boy then wandered out to the front yard and was sitting on the grass when 2 people walking by saw him and contacted the Bloomsburg Police Department. Officers Lucas Stiver and Thomas Pfeiffer arrived and called Columbia County Children and Youth, who contacted the boy's mother. Stiver and Pfeiffer waited outside for King to arrive home, and in the process, he managed to crash into a parked car while pulling into his driveway, according to Bloomsburg Sergeant David Bowman. Stiver said as he approached King, he smelled alcohol and King was not comprehending anything. King became aggravated and pulled away from Stiver during his arrest. Court papers say that King tried twice to kick Stiver in the leg before being forced to the ground. He also kicked Pfeiffer in the chest, knocking off his body camera from his vest. Hemlock Township and Scott Township police also arrived on scene to look after the boy and handled the crash. King was taken to the police station where he urinated, defecated, and vomited in an interview room before being arraigned by District Judge William Wilt. King's charges include 2 counts of felony aggravated assault, felony counts of endangering the welfare of a child, and driving under the influence, at least his 4th charge of that offense. He is also facing simple assault charges, resisting arrest, driving with a suspended license, and criminal mischief. He remains locked in Columbia County Prison after Judge William Wilt declined to set a bail amount. According to Sergeant Bowman, King also cursed at the judge and attempted to urinate during the arraignment. The effects of the government shutdown continue and may soon become a more major concern in Pennsylvania. Nearly 2 million Americans may lose benefits from SNAP for the month of November. The pause would be caused by the government shutdown earlier in October. In a letter sent to all states that participate in SNAP, the U.S. Department of Agriculture says that if the government continues to remain without funding, there will be not enough funds to continue the program in November. The USDA says that they are working on a backup plan to keep SNAP funded. However, no additional information on the plan has been released at this time. If you experience connection issues on the Amazon website page, it is because Amazon Web Services is having a major outage on their major websites around the world. Today, around 3 o'clock a.m., AWS, or Amazon Web Services, experienced its first signs of trouble when they reported on its health dashboard that the Web Services' main U.S. East 1 region, Amazon's largest data center hubs, was experiencing DNS problems with its database service that support many other AWS applications. DNS stands for Domain Name System, which is in charge of translating website names to IP addresses so browsers and other applications can load. At around 5 o'clock a.m., Amazon in a statement said that they are aware of the situation and is currently working on getting the websites back. Amazon Web Services is a cloud computing platform where millions of companies and organizations rely on cloud computing systems such as servers and storage. The Greater Hazleton Chamber of Commerce members, employees, co-workers, and guests are invited to attend an after-hours networking mixer with the business community hosted by the Cross Valley Federal Credit Union. The mixer is on October 23rd from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. at the Hazleton Launch Box located at 13 West Broad Street, Hazleton. Those who attend will have the opportunity to meet the Cross Valley Federal Credit Union team and board of directors and hear what is new at the credit union and exciting opportunities coming to Hazleton. No fee is required to attend, but reservations are required. To reserve for the event, contact the Chamber office at 570-455-1509 or email lfalabel@hazletonchamber.org. Coming up on Nescopec's News Choice, we check in with Luzerne County Manager Imelda Crocomo on Crocomo's County Report. Plus, Wyln historian Chris Fulmer leads us down the path through history with Turpinville Part 1. And stay right here on Wyln. We'll be right back.
When you bundle home and auto, life can be easier. You choose coverage that makes sense for you, at a price that's right for you, and a local State Farm agent who's there for you.
Call State Farm agent Pete Kasalika in the Greater Hazleton area today.
For a better customer experience, visit Fairway Subaru in Hazleton. Fairway Subaru has been providing generations of customers with Subarus. With exceptional customer service they've come to expect. Check out our selection in person or at fairwaysubaru.com. Fairway Subaru, the right car, the right price, the right dealer.
Hey, it's Justin from Grand Central, and our trained sleep professionals are here to help you sleep like never before. With an extensive line of Sealy and Stearns & Foster mattresses, we are sure to find you the right mattress at the right price. Free delivery and removal, interest-free financing for up to 60 months, and same or next day delivery on select models.
And don't forget, everyday low prices. Stop in to one of our 2 locations, Route 93 in Nescopec,
or downtown Hazleton,
and see why Northeast and Central Pennsylvania sleeps better with Grand Central.
In this week's episode of Let's Talk Chiropractic, we're going to have a guest, Claudine Gallagher, and we're going to discuss how this whole thing works.
Crocomo's County Report. I'm the host today, Preston Andrus, and here with me is my good friend Romilda Crocomo. How are you today, Romilda?
I'm very well. How are you?
I've been pretty good.
Good.
It's been an eventful weekend. I actually got to see Saturn from a big telescope thing that they brought to the City View Park. It was nice. It was a nice sight.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Sounds very cool.
Yeah. So with what's going on today, I've been pretty bored, but now that you're here, I get to hear your little input on what's been going on. So is there anything coming up or that you've experienced recently?
Well, there's two things. Next Tuesday will be a council meeting, and that's when we start the budget hearings. So the administration will be there in front of council to answer questions. And the courts as well. So County Council now has the budget books for almost a week, and I'm sure they'll have a lot of questions for us, and we'll be very happy to answer the questions. We really spent a lot of time on this budget, really trying to tighten it up, and it ended up that we had to ask for a very modest tax increase of 1.9%. So we'll be there next Tuesday at the council meeting to answer council's questions, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions from the public as well.
Yeah, I would expect them to be quite curious on how this is going to go, and yeah, nobody likes doing more money on the tax, but from everything you gave me the previous weeks, it's quite understandable.
Well, I mean, we have to maintain services. Obviously, everyone knows that there's a state and federal budget impasse, and we're actually losing interest because of that budget impasse, because we have to make up for the losses that are a result of the state and the federal government not passing a budget. And I would just suggest to all our elected officials, stop blaming everybody else and get to work.
Yeah, gotta get to work, and it's a federal thing, so therefore there's no joke and there's no sitting around. It's too much of a task to ignore. Yeah.
And then the other big event that's coming upon us very soon is our election. If you want to be a poll watcher, you need to have a certificate. You need to make an application to the Bureau, and you can still do that. And I would suggest that everyone go to the Bureau website to find out polling places and important dates of when voter registration documents and ballots need to be received by the Bureau. So our website is very informative. Check that out. And if you have any questions, there is a web address that you can send your questions to the Bureau itself.
Okay, that's good for the people to know. And I've never been a poll worker before. It just sounds like a nice thing to do for the community, and I've definitely seen a lot of them, and my grandmother was one.
Right, we have trainings for poll workers and judges, and then if you want to be a poll watcher, you have to have a certificate. So it's very complicated. It's not easy running an election. It's not election day anymore. It's election weeks, and it's a very daunting task. But there are deadlines that have to be met. If you have questions, you should go to our website.
And the website has all the answers they need.
Has the information.
Good. Yeah, and what's the date for the election again? It's
first Tuesday of November.
First Tuesday, okay. Well, that's two things to look forward to in November for me, the election and starting the Christmas celebration already.
Absolutely.
That's my thing.
We're already ordering the tree that's at the courthouse, which is always a really wonderful event. And we're scheduling the tree lighting ceremony.
Awesome. Okay. Well, okay, so that's a good positive note that we can end off on, and I guess that'll do for Crocomo's County Report today. We'll see you next time.
It's cold out there. Call S.J. Kowalski for the best products and solutions to help lower your energy costs and keep your family safe and comfortable this winter. Our professional team has unparalleled experience with all the latest innovative types of heating systems. We're a Lennox Premier dealer, installing high-quality equipment, providing the ultimate experience in comfort and climate control while being energy efficient. S.J. Kowalski, heating and cooling the way the earth intended.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. It's high school football time on Wyln TV 35. Check out the game of the week and join the entire Wyln sports team as they bring live high school football to you. Watch over the air in Hazleton at 35.1, Berwick at 47.1, or Williamsport at 9.1, or Service Electric Cable, Channel 7 or 507, or online. The game of the week is brought to you by Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute. Comebacks begin here.
Hello, I'm Wyln historian Chris Fulmer. Pennsylvania's communities are filled with interesting history. Come with me as we discover the people, events, industries, and other historic facets of local towns.
Tomorrow will be bright and sunny out.
Among the first European settlers in what would become northern Northumberland County were Jacob and Catherine Seckler, who had received a land grant to the area directly from the Penn family. Their property, which the Secklers named Green Lawn, extended over Main and Church Streets in today's borough and outward into Lewis Township. Another early prominent settler was Philip Reifsnyder, who opened a blacksmith shop, also near Main and Church Streets. Reifsnyder also built a tavern at Main and Paradise Streets, which his wife would operate. The community that started to rise in the area thus originally had the name Snydertown in his honor. During the Revolution, the settlers in the area had to be especially on their toes, as attacks by Native Americans aligned with the British would be quite common. During the Big Runaway in 1778, almost everyone that set down roots in northern Northumberland County would flee down the Susquehanna to Fort Augusta near Sunbury, which was the only fort along the river to have cannons. After some time, a few of them returned cautiously home. One of those was Jacob Freeland, who owned a mill along Warrior Run Creek, behind today's Warrior Run High School. Freeland decided to build up his property to protect against future native attacks, and thus surrounded his house and mill with a high fence. The now protected property became known as Fort Freeland, despite it not being much of a fort. It would quickly become a place of refuge for other locals in the spring of 1779, when native attacks recommenced. Soon, almost 80 other settlers, most of them women, children, and elderly men, as most of the fighting men were off in battle, had taken up residence at Fort Freeland. It was thus on the evening of June 28, 1779, that these settlers would find themselves abruptly under attack by a force of 100 British regulars and 300 Seneca fighters. Only about a quarter of the 80 fort residents had experience using firearms, and the available ammunition quickly started running out, despite the fort's women's efforts to melt down dinnerware and spoons into bullets. Soon Fort Freeland was forced to surrender to the attackers after its ammunition had been expended. The wounded were subsequently killed by the attackers, although the uninjured defenders were instead taken prisoner and non-combatants were allowed to go free. The British in Seneca then ransacked Fort Freeland and burned it down before moving on to attack other settlements and forts in the area. Today, the site of Fort Freeland is maintained by the local Fort Freeland Heritage Society, which holds a reenactment of the battle every year on its anniversary. With the fall of Fort Freeland, Patriot leaders began looking to build other defenses in the area. Colonel William Rice was chosen to find a new location for a fort. He chose the property of James Montgomery, who was among those who had fled to Fort Augusta during the Big Runaway. Rice would begin construction of what would be known as Fort Rice in his honor in the fall of 1779. It would be the only limestone fortification on the Pennsylvania frontier. Soon after its completion in the spring of 1780, Fort Rice would be put to the test, as it quickly came under assault by a force of 200 native fighters. The marauders burned the Montgomery farm's crops in the raid, but Fort Rice itself would hold, and the attackers would be chased east by a relief force led by Colonel John Kelly. After the Revolution, James Montgomery returned to his land, and with every other building having burned down, he and his family moved into the Fort Rice building, which became known as Fort Montgomery during his tenure. Today, the former Fort Rice building still stands today on private property along what is now known as Fort Rice Road. A third fort would stand north of Forts Freeland and Rice, near the site of today's Washingtonville. John Bosley had moved to that area from Maryland in 1773 and built a grist mill along Chillisquacky Creek. It would be fortified into a fort in 1777, officially as Fort Bosley, but also known at times as Brady's Fort and Boyle's Fort. It was garrisoned by a maximum of 20 militiamen, commanded by Captain Thomas Keplin, and included a howitzer among its armaments. During the battle at Fort Freeland to the north, Captain Keplin and 12 of his men headed north to help the fort's defenders. 5 of Fort Bosley's men were captured by the British in Seneca in the ensuing battle, and would be held prisoner for 2 years in Canada's Fort Niagara before they were exchanged. With Fort Freeland's fall and the abandonment of Fort Boone near today's Milton, Fort Bosley became the northernmost fort in the lower Susquehanna West Branch Valley for the protection of settlers. Despite its isolated location making it a tempting target, however, it never did come under attack during the Revolution, however. Instead, it was a place of refuge for escapees of native attacks elsewhere in the area. Among those who found refuge inside Fort Bosley's walls were John Eves, who later found Millville in Columbia County. Fort Bosley was last garrisoned in 1780. John Bosley sold his land in 1795, and the original grist mill burned down in 1826. Today, a state historic marker stands near Fort Bosley's presumed site. Eventually, the community that was first called Snydertown would be incorporated in 1858. Its name would be subsequently changed to Turbotville in honor of Colonel Turbot Francis. Francis had received over 2,000 acres of land from Thomas and Richard Penn in northern Northumberland County for a service in Pontiac's Rebellion, the Pan-Native uprising against British rule following the French and Indian War. And although Francis was stationed for a time at Fort Augusta, he would never actually settle on the land he'd been granted. Upon his death in 1789, his land was sold off at sheriff's sale, with land on which the town of Milton would be built spun off from the tract that would become Turbotville.
Tomorrow will be bright and sunny out.
You're watching